Hey, Amy from the blog blossominglife.com, and today I want to share with you how to homestead without any land. I have been interested in homesteading for probably the last 10 years, basically since my husband and I got together. Why? I'm not sure, but I've always loved the idea of being self-sufficient, raising animals, raising your own food, and I just love that idea. But here's the thing, we've never really had land to do it. We have lived on a quarter acre or less, yet over the years I would consider myself kind of like a mini homesteader. Now you can find a video on my YouTube channel all about how we've been creating a quarter acre homestead, and this just kind of shows you the basics of our plot of land and what we are planning to do with it. Here's the thing, you do not have to have a lot of land to homestead. You can do it in the city, you can do it in the suburbs, wherever you are, you can start homesteading. It's really more of a mindset than anything else. How can you use the land that you have been given and be the most resourceful that you can be? So I want to share with you just some ways that you can homestead without land starting today. So when you think of homesteading, probably the first thing you think of is growing your own food. So this has changed definitely for us over the last couple of years, depending on where we lived. When we lived in Illinois, we had a huge garden, lots of space that we could grow stuff, and we had apple trees, blueberries, peach trees, strawberries, tons of vegetables, serviceberry tree, probably never heard of that, but they were good and we enjoyed them. We had lots of different things and we had more space. Now when we moved into our new home, I thought a quarter acre, oh my gosh, that's so much land, so much stuff we could grow. And that was a lie, because our yard has so many trees, there really is not that much growing space. So we could grow maybe a couple tomatoes, we can only grow cherry tomatoes, we grow lots of peas, things that are more shade friendly. But that doesn't mean that we can't homestead. So we have to use the land the best that we can. So I started putting herbs and other things in the front yard that does get more sunlight. Now we do get lots of deer, and so this is mostly going to be more herb or in the front yard. Because of the deer, they tend to leave those alone. While in the backyard, doing more shade-friendly things. We also planted some plum trees and some strawberries. But say you don't have any space whatsoever when it comes to growing your own food. There's a couple things that you can do. One, you can find space in the community. There's community gardens all over the place that you can rent your own garden space and create a garden. You could also do container gardens. When we lived in our first apartment in Illinois, I had a little container garden of, I think, like 5 or 6 tomato plants and cucumbers and some other things. But you could definitely do that. Another thing you could do is join a CSA. Now, if you've never heard of that, that is a community supported agriculture. We actually did one last year and we loved it. It was great. You pay a farmer, usually you pay them like a quarterly or yearly, and then they give you a box full of fruits and vegetables every single week, depending on however long their season is. And the box contains homegrown vegetables or farm-grown vegetables, and you get it straight from the farmer, which is great, helps them out more. There's not tons of overhead costs compared to going to a market and having to pay that way. Now here's another thing you can do if you don't have a CSA is go to the farmer's market. You can buy so much stuff from the farmer's market. Buying from the farmer's market, you get to meet your farmers, and sometimes you can even help out on a farm and maybe help pick and grow things. You can learn from them, which is an awesome way to say if you do want to actually own land in the future, you can learn now how to do it. Another thing you can do that we do every year is there are so many you pick farms in our area, and you can go there. Like we picked, I believe, 50 some pounds of blueberries. It lasted us like 6 months. But we've met our farmer and we love talking to her and seeing how she grows things, her practices, and it teaches us too the things that we like, the things we like to pick, what we want to grow possibly in the future if we ever do get land. Another thing you can do is learn to cook from scratch. So many people have no idea how to cook from scratch. So learning how to use the produce that you buy at the farmer's market, learning how to cook it right or cook it different ways, learning all about the art of sourdough, which honestly I thought was way more intimidating than it actually is. We now use sourdough products all the time because I figured out how to use or to make things that are super simple, and just using the starter discard. There's a whole world of sourdough. So learning these simple skills that are kind of a lost art these days. Homesteading, you need so many skills, and so it's great to learn these skills now. Learn candle making, beekeeping, so you can study these things from the internets. I mean, come on, the internets. But also, local farms, local community classes have them, or going to your local library and finding books on this stuff. One thing that we hope to do this year, mostly me, one thing I hope to do this year is to get bees. And so I have been researching bees and finding books and talking to beekeepers at local events that we have in our area to kind of see, is it possible? What should we be looking for? Who do we need to talk to about doing them? If it's safe with the kids around in our small little area. And so learning these new skills that might be useful. And with useful skills is preserving food. So you're planning on growing this food or getting it from the farmer's market, or you're doing pick, but how do you preserve it so that way it lasts all year round? One thing that I've never really learned how to do, I have done it like once, is canning food, which I'm slightly ashamed to say because I love preserving food and all that stuff, but I never really learned to can. It seems so intimidating. So this year, my goal is to learn how to can foods. I have canned salsa, and that is it. And then it didn't turn out well. So a couple other things you can learn. Animal husbandry. We have babysat farms before in the past and learned how to milk goats this way and take care of goats. Why someone would let me babysit these like prize winning goat. I literally had no idea what I was doing. I'm like, I'm just a city girl. But you know what? Everything was good. They all lived. It was fine. And I learned to milk a goat. Another skill it's great to learn is sewing. So, I mean, it could be sewing aprons, dresses, fixing, mending things. These are all really good skills to learn to become more self-sufficient, which is kind of the whole point of homesteading. A lot of times, it's many people's goals, is become more self-sufficient, to be able to grow your own food, preserve your own food, you know, live off the land, as people would say. Learning these things can help you become more resourceful, better stewards of what you do have. Another thing is learning to live off less. This is something that we have been working on a lot this last year, but really for the last couple of years, is learning to live with less, decluttering, having a more simple life. These are all mindsets of someone trying to homestead. This is something anybody can do. Declutter. Declutter your life. You know, fix things that are broken so that way you don't have to just go out and buy new ones. Getting rid of debt so that way you have more money in your pocket to save up for things like a dairy cow. Is that just me? Just becoming more resourceful with things that you do already have. I think in our culture today, it's just so normal that something breaks, just go buy a new one. But living off less, being able to fix it yourself and not being so tied to like consumerism is a great thing to do when you're trying to homestead. A lot of these things go hand in hand together. Reducing waste, that's a good one. That's a good one. So sometimes if you live in the country, you don't even have garbage service. You'll have to do it yourself. You'll have to figure out a way to deal with garbage. And one way of doing that is by living a more zero waste lifestyle, which is really popular right now because we are having such a problem with the amount of trash, because we're just so used to going to get coffee and getting a reusable or disposable cup and throwing it away. And we just have so much trash. Trying to live with less trash can save you money. Even now, if we had a smaller trash bin, we would save like $10 a month. But reducing waste, using cloth diapers, all that stuff are just little tiny things that you can do to live a more homesteading life. With the land that you do have, what can you grow? There's actually multiple things that you could. In our town, we are allowed to have pretty much any animal as long as they're not smelly or loud. We could get goats if we wanted to. We do want to, but it just hasn't happened yet. But we can have goats, you can have chickens as long as there's not roosters, and you could also have meat rabbits. So these are all things that you could have for meat or eggs or milk. So right there, even in this tiny little spot of land, we could have all of those things. Oh, and we could have bees. So that one, look into your homeowner's insurance. Ours allows it as long as we don't sell it. So you do have to make sure you're looking at, you're talking to the people in your community, looking at the laws to make sure you're not doing anything wrong. Because that would be bad. You don't want to get in trouble for your dairy cow that's on your quarter acre bellowing away. Backyard chickens are the gateway animal to homesteading, I tell you. Because once you get chickens, then you want ducks. And once you want ducks, then you want goats. We were looking at this farm the other day and dreaming about farming. And we met one of my husband's coworkers, and he has some land, and he was saying he raised meat rabbits. And he told us, hey, if you ever want any meat, I will trade you with eggs. And so this is a great way to, one, know people in your community, but also trading and dealing with people to trade what we have eggs, and they have meat, and so we can trade with them. And that is a great way to kind of to be more self-sustaining, because honestly, even if you did have a homestead, it's really hard to grow every single thing, almost nearly impossible to grow every single thing that you could possibly want. That, and I don't know if I could ever do meat rabbits or meat anything, because let's be honest, I would name them all, they'd all become my pets, and I don't think I could eat any of them. One thing that you could do that is cheaper, it's going to save you money, it is better for the environment, it is healthier for you, and it helps you kind of declutter because you don't have so much stuff, is starting to make your own cleaning products. I've done this for almost 10 years now of making my own products, and they work great. They are really, really cheap, and if you saw how much cleaning products I have, it's like 4 things, and in those 4 things I can make everything basically. And so this is a great way to homestead. It's not something you would think of like homesteading, but doing these things, you're becoming more self-sustainable again. So, and you can even make the vinegar to use for your cleaning products. Oh, even like laundry, using dryer balls, reducing waste, and hanging clothes up to dry, using sustainable heating and cooling sources, solar panels, or using a wood stove. Those are all things that you can do. It'll reduce your energy costs and make you more self-sufficient. In the end, really trying to create a homestead on a small plot of land or even in the city is possible. It's all about mindset and what you're doing to create a more simple life, a more self-sustainable life, and a healthier life, really. Just keep learning. Just keep trying to do the best that you can and learn new things. Right now, this homesteading thing is like really booming, and it's something you can kind of learn one little bit at a time. If you like this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. I share 2 new videos every week on natural products, DIY projects, and simple recipes, and some stuff about homesteading, creating a homestead on our 1/4 acre. Thanks so much for stopping by.